Mahatma Gandhi said, "Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed." In the race to become the superior species on this planet, have we not time and again neglected our environment? Well, the answer sadly is yes. And as a repercussion, we're on the verge of sixth largest extinction on the face of the earth. As a part of this ecological system, every individual needs to make contributions that will not only reduce the damage that is being done to our environment, but will also help in protecting it for the future generations. Are you ready to do your bit? Our thoughts determine our actions, and our actions determine the future. It is important that we take measures and be decisive in working upon the betterment of societies, the world, and for social, economic, and environmental development. If we wait until we're ready, we'll be waiting for the rest of our lives. We need to work together to annihilate and eradicate economic, political, and environmental destruction for the good of all. Let us all join hands and pledge to provide a better life without compromising our future and our planet. Let us pledge to build a better world where all life can thrive. Good evening, respected Ma'am Principal, Mrs. Aparna Airy, Ma'am Supervisory Head, Mrs. Jyoti Sharma, our esteemed guests for today, dear parents, teachers, and fellow students. On behalf of the students of grade 9, I extend a warm welcome to all. With immense pleasure and utmost pride, we are here to present a virtual walk-in session on the theme, Planting Hope for the Planet. Days of planning, research, and hard work have led us to the successful execution and presentation of this virtual thematic presentation. Hope you like and appreciate this venture. I would now hand over to my friend Mahi to carry forward the proceedings of the event.
Thank you, Vernon. A function feels truly incomplete if it isn't started with a gun. The DAV anthem was written by the Hindi-Urdu poet Jagannath Azad. It reminds the learners of their responsibility towards the institution, their society, and their nation. It strengthens the DAVians to follow the voice of their conscience. Now, let us welcome our friends to sing the melodic DAV Gan.
अविरल निर्मल सलिल सदय ज्ञान प्रदायिनी ज्योतिर्मय हो चहुं दिशि उद्घोष अभय DAV जय जय DAV जय जय प्रबल प्रवाहमयी नित नूतन जीवन दायिनी सदा सनातन वेद प्रणीता परम पुनीता ये धारा अक्षय DAV जय जय DAV जय जय दयानंद से प्रेम भक्ति ले हंसराज से त्याग शक्ति ले धर्म भक्ति का राष्ट्र शक्ति का हो दिन मान उदय DAV जय जय DAV जय जय सुख समृद्धि इसकी लहरें प्रेम शांति इसके तट ठहरे सघन शांतिमय प्रबल क्रांतिमय लिए अटल निश्चय DAV जय जय DAV जय जय
As John Quincy Adams once said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. So, we now request our Honorable Principal Ma'am, our leader, Mrs. Aparna Airy, who has always motivated us and set an example for all of us by sharing her expertise and knowledge to address the gathering.
Good evening and greetings to all. I am extremely delighted to welcome my dear parents, students, and my fellow colleague teachers to witness yet another spectacular feast of creativity put up by the children of class 9th of our school. The coming in of virtual era, especially in teaching and learning process, was initially very challenging. But in the course of 2 years, our children and teachers have evolved remarkably. Today's virtual presentation is an affirmation of the fact that they can learn with greater flexibility and accessibility. In an effort to engage children in social activities, promote openness and communication in the time of digitization, our school has come up with the idea of giving them a platform to express their creativity, knowledge, and digital skills. Today's presentation, Planting Hope for the Planet, is bound to showcase that our young generation is well aware of its potential and is ready to take up the responsibilities as global citizens of the world. Our awareness of the goals of sustainable development is going to be a passport for our future generations. Our conscious efforts to save ecology, economy, and equity is going to give our coming generations a safe haven to live and prosper. It is high time we understand our role and deliver. I appreciate the hard work and dedication of children who poured in their ideas and vision to make this program a reality, and teachers for giving a constant support and motivation to the students in their endeavors. I express my gratitude to all the parents who inspire us to reach greater heights and help us discover new opportunities outside our comfort zone. Looking forward to see a great show. All the best, my dear children. Thank you.
I would take this opportunity to thank Ma'am Principal for the enlightening words. Ma'am, your words of wisdom are always a source of inspiration for all of us. Lester Brown, an eminent environmentalist, has very aptly said, "We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children." We have exploited Mother Nature's limited bounties mindlessly for our greed. If we continue at this pace, nothing will be left for the upcoming generations to survive on. Nature is already giving alarming signals, and its wrath might even wipe off humanity from the face of the earth. What better way to spread this message than through a mesmerizing song? Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything. Music has an astounding effect on our emotions and body. So coming up next is a very relevant song, Hum Kaise Jiyenge. Through this soothing rendition, children are pleading with their elders to relinquish their obliviousness and at least stop in their tracks, if not go back. तो आइए सुने प्रकृति की कहानी, प्रकृति की जुबानी।
फूलों ने जाके बूंदों से पूछा, बूंदों ने जाके मिट्टी से पूछा, हम कहाँ रहेंगे, हम कैसे खिलेंगे, हम कहाँ रहेंगे, हम कैसे खिलेंगे, हम कैसे जिएंगे। अंधेरों से हम घिरे हुए, अंधेरों से हम भागे हुए, अंधेरों से हम घिरे हुए, अंधेरों से हम भागे हुए, पल पल हर पल हम जिए, कितने काले धुएं में।
हवाओं में जाके पत्तों से पूछा, पत्तों ने जाके पेड़ों से पूछा, हम कहाँ रहेंगे, हम कैसे खिलेंगे, हम कैसे जिएंगे, हम कैसे जिएंगे। हम हैं तो तुम हो तो हम, इंसान हो तुम, प्रकृति हम। हम हैं तो तुम हो तो हम, इंसान हो तुम, प्रकृति हम। हमें जीने दो, हमें खिलने दो, हमें पानी दो, हमें लगने दो, हमें जीने दो, हमें खिलने दो, हमें पानी दो, हमें लगने दो। दुनिया हमारी रंगों से भर दो, खुशियाँ हमारी हरियाली कर दो।
हम यहीं रहेंगे, हम यहीं रहेंगे, हम यहीं खिलेंगे, हम यहीं जिएंगे, हम यहीं खिलेंगे, हम यहीं जिएंगे, हम यहीं जिएंगे।
Wow, what a melodious song it was. The people on this earth are facing acute problems like poverty, hunger, inequality, illiteracy, to name some. The reasons are obvious: population, unemployment, corruption, inequality, discrimination, etc. Along with us, our Mother Earth is also suffering from issues like deforestation, global warming, soil degradation, depletion of natural resources, and pollution. We humans, with our greed and unwise decisions, have even made animals suffer. So it's we who have to find the solutions to the problems. But how? Let's watch an informative video guiding us how we can make this world an ideal place, a place which we want to live in by solving ecological, social, and economical problems.
Sustainable development is a pathway that enables us to fulfill the present day needs without compromising with the future of all. I want everyone on this planet to be happy and peaceful, as well as I also want the development on this planet. And it is only possible to live in peace when everyone on this planet is happy. It's not that easy. For that, we need sustainable development. Let us see those 17 goals that can make Vision 2030 a success.
We will live in a world where nobody, anywhere, lives in extreme poverty.
We will live in a world where no one goes hungry. No one wakes up in the morning asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world where no child has to die
from the diseases we know how to cure, and where proper health care is a lifelong right for all of us.
We will live in a world where everyone will go to school, and education will provide the knowledge and skills required to live a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all women and girls have equal opportunities to thrive, to be powerful, and to be safe.
We will live in a world where all people can get clean water and proper toilets at home, at school, and at work.
We will live in a world where there is sustainable energy for everyone. Heat, light, and power for the planet without destroying the planet.
We will live in a world where the economies prosper and new wealth leads to decent jobs for everyone.
We will live in a world where our industry, our infrastructure, and our best innovations are not only used to make money but to make our lives better.
We will live in a world where prejudice and extreme inequalities are defeated inside a country and between different countries.
We will live in a world where people are living in cities and communities that are safe, resilient, progressive, and support all of those that live in them.
We live in a world where we replace what we consume, where we put back what we have taken out of the earth.
We will live in a world that is decisively rolling back the threat of climate change.
We will live in a world where we restore and protect the life below water in our oceans and seas, and we all have a role to play.
We live in a world where we restore and protect life on land, the forests, the animals, the earth itself.
We live in a world where peace is between and inside the country, where all governments are open and answer us what they do at home and abroad, where justice rules, where everyone equal before the law.
And we must live in a world where all countries and we, the people, work in partnerships of all kinds to make these global goals a reality for everyone, everywhere.
Hope is being able to see that there is light despite of all darkness, by Desmond Tutu. These desire help us plant hope in our mind that yes, one day Earth will be the best place in the whole universe to live on. That yes, Earth will be technologically advanced and green simultaneously. Water will be pure and everyone will live a comfortable and affordable life. This desire based on SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals, help us to see bright future of ours and our Earth to see. And as we all know, imagination, hope and desire is the first step towards success. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very enlightening. An ideal, modern and civilized world is one where people can escape poverty and enjoy decent work without harming the Earth's essential ecosystem and resources, where they can get the food and water they need, where everyone can access clean energy that doesn't contribute to climate change, where life on land as well as water can live without any harm, where there is peace and justice. Focusing on this, I now invite the budding intellects for some action with captions.
All of us leave our footprints in the ground, but those are temporary. They wash out or are eclipsed by another. Our footprints on the planet, however, stay and are compounded over generations. It is up to us then to make sure our footprint is the positive one. With that in mind, let's go over some enticing posters and intriguing slogans spreading awareness to plant hope on the planet.
water performance. Climate change is the global phenomena of climate transformation characterized by the changes in usual climate of the planet regarding temperature, precipitation and wind, specially caused by human activities. To understand more about the repercussion of human imprints on climate and future of life on earth, let's gear up to hear some intellectual minds in a brainstorming talk show, Planting Hope on the Planet Earth.
Good day to all those present here today. I'm Akshat Kapoor, here to moderate our very own talk show, Planting Hope on the Planet, focusing on SDG 13 climate action. We're here with our panelist, Dr. Navodita Sharma.
Hi everyone, my name is Navodita. I currently teach at NLU Delhi for the past 8 years. Thank you. I hope we have a great discussion.
Ms. Mahi Kaushik.
Hi everybody, I'm Mahi Kaushik and I'm a climate activist.
Dr. Anandita Giri.
Hi everyone, Namaste. I am Anandita Giri this side and I am currently working as a social activist and I run 4 NGOs. I'm looking forward to have a good and healthy discussion ahead.
And finally, Mr. Hardik Srivastav.
Everybody, I'm Hardik Srivastav. My pronouns are they, them. Graduated from LPU with a degree in political science and hoping to not have a political discussion today.
So let's get started, I guess. Welcome all of you, and just so you know, you all will get 1.5 minutes to present your views, and any interjections are supposed to be kept brief. So without any further ado, let's just jump to our first question. How do we limit the first world carbon producing countries in order to counteract global warming while also allowing the peripheral nations to continue development without counteracting or impeding the carbon reduction practices and efforts being made worldwide to fight this ecological evil? Let's start with you, Dr. Navodita.
Thanks, Akshat. As we all have realized in the present years that we have to make the development of the peripheral countries alongside making less or no carbon emissions. Emissions will continue, but will be balanced by absorbing an equivalent amount from the atmosphere. A growing number of countries are making commitments to achieve carbon neutrality or a net zero emissions within the next few decades. Now, how can the world move towards a net zero? The key element here is powering economics with a clean energy, replacing polluting coal with renewable energy sources such as wind or solar farms. This would drastically reduce the carbon emissions. Plus, renewable energy is now not only cleaner but often cheaper than the fossil fuels. A wholesale switch to electronic transport powered by renewable energy would also play a huge role in lowering emissions. Electronic vehicles are rapidly becoming cheaper and more efficient, and many countries, including those committed for a net zero, have proposed plans to phase out the sale of fossil fuel powered cars.
Very principled and apt explanation, Doctor. Could Dr. Anandita now perhaps expand upon what other activities may give rise to these detrimental emissions?
Yeah, definitely, Akshit. So, another source of harmful emissions is agriculture. Greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture come from livestock such as cows, agriculture soils, and rice production. Its emissions could be reduced drastically if we eat less meat and more plant based foods. Here again, the signs are promising, such as the rising popularity of plant based meats, now being sold in major international fast food chains. To get to net zero, we also need to find ways to remove carbon from the atmosphere. Here again, solutions are at hand. The most important have existed in nature for thousands of years that include forests and soil, which are all highly efficient at absorbing carbon. We are all responsible as individuals in terms of changing our habits and living in a way that is more sustainable and which does less harm to the planet. After all, going back to a simpler life based on living by sufficiency rather than excess is not a step backward. Back to you, Akshat.
Let me just drop in right now. Love the point about lowering meat intake and meat production, and a very good testament to how veganism is not only good for our bodies but also good for the environment in the longer run. Back to you, Akshat, as Anandita said.
Very true, Arthik, I would say, very true.
All right, so I was thinking we should talk at a slightly larger scale. I've been meaning to ask about the necessary oversight required for controlling such emissions. Let's have Miss Mahi's thoughts now, perhaps.
Good question, Akshat. There is no doubt that unsustainable energy resources should be ditched or limited at the first chance we get. But getting there is not just about oversight, especially in developing countries. Look, we live in a world where mere oversight would never be enough to get people or corporations to do something, especially when we're talking about virtually changing the way we have lived for past 2 centuries. So, in addition to obvious oversight, it is important for governments to incentivize and encourage people to start transitioning or at least think about the same. Just like you can sell something by beating your customers to buy it, you can't force someone to switch to renewables. We'll have to make renewable energy come off as attractive proposition that is similar to marketing your product to sell it. Again, dreaming for overnight change is futile, but luckily we have got more than just a overnight to change it. Back to you, Akshat.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and great points everywhere. Good to hear that. And I guess we should start with the next question because we don't have a lot of time, but let's go. All right, so let's start with Mr. Hardik now. In a time of global warming, climate change, and entire dying biological systems, is sustainable development the way to go? How efficient is this idea in today's world, and what are some of the challenges it may pose? How would you overcome these issues, and how do we move forward? The stage is yours, Mr. Hardik.
Thank you, Akshat. So let me just give you a background about what sustainable development is. In essence, it's economic development that is conducted without the depletion of natural resources. Most of us in varying capacities, of course, have already heard, read, talked, or even debated upon the topic for, well, as long as I can remember. It is depressing then when we see little to no real action being taken on it in the real world. The seemingly normal, but I would say cliche thing to do here is blaming our governments. Oh, Donald Trump didn't care. Oh, Bolsonaro hated nature, etc., etc. You know how it goes. In my humble opinion, those are just excuses to not look at the real problem, basically playing hot potato, the future. Have we all ever considered whether sustainable development is the way to go? It sounds all hunky dory, but it pretty easily ignores the cognitive dissonance of increasing economic growth and becoming eco warriors, so to say. It appears that sustainable development has now just become the go to topic for people trying to act woke about climate change, excusing its fundamental yet fatal flaws. Over to whoever wants to speak now.
I would like to say, dissecting Hardik's premise that sustainable development is economic growth at its core, one cannot deviate further from the truth. Economic growth fundamentally includes economic development and it's principally based on the gross domestic product. On the other hand, the sustainable development model is a multidisciplinary concept. It relies, I would like to repeat, it relies on reducing resource consumption, producing clean alternative energy, protecting environmental factors and quality of life at its complexity. To trivialize sustainable development as a farce would mean demeaning the 17 sustainable goals, many of which have their roots in equity, battling poverty, and responsible consumption. Labels such as eco warriors and woke are often intended to derail the discourse, which is detrimental to our progress as a united front.
And okay, let me just drop it and say I've never seen someone being so confident in being so wrong. So whatever we might set as result
Okay,
for
let me
this
just jump
discussion.
in.
At least I'm standing by my point. I am very much
Sure.
still standing till my
Sure,
point.
if you
Let's
say
just
Let
hold
me
this
just
off for a bit.
drop in here.
I was
Right.
just going to direct it towards you, Dr. Anandita, so it's good that you're taking it up. Thank you.
Sure. So, to be precise here, the development of any kind is to always meet the requirements of the present without paying heed to what its impact may be on the future and the generations to come. This selfish idea of thinking only about ourselves will lead to severe crisis in the near future. We must think about our planet Earth and the generations to come. This leads us to embrace the concept of development of humankind, which is sustainable development. To practice the concept of sustainable development, it is very important to understand what sustainable development is. The main idea behind sustainable development is that any kind of progress, be it economic, environmental, or social, everything can be achieved without depleting Earth's resources and using only what we need. Sustainable development is the pathway to the future we want for all. It offers a framework to generate economic growth, achieve social justice, and exercise environmental stewardship and strengthen governance. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anandita. That's very true. I would like to add the drastic effects of unsustainable development can be already be seen. One of the notable problems is climate change, which is partially due to the depletion of the ozone layer due to the increased population of the air and the land. The longer we take to address the problem of unsustainable development and its effect it's causing, the more longer the drastic effects and the consequences are going to be. So wake
Yeah,
up.
and after all, we can't disagree with the fact that sustainable development is a wonderful way to conserve the natural resources we have by changing our approach towards the use and development of technology. We should not stop using these resources, rather we should use them in a sustained manner so that it does not become extinct and lead to extinction of species. Sustainability will hopefully be one of the major social and economic turning point in human history. And we should definitely understand that sustainable development will only be achieved by collective effort. When every individual thinks of national good, when every nation thinks of global good, that is when sustainable development will become a reality. Sustainability is a political choice, not a technical one. It's not a question of whether we can be sustainable, but whether we choose to be one. Thank you. And while we are at it, Mr. Hardik Srivastava, you talked about how sustainable development isn't a realistic expectation from today's capitalist market-based economies. You then went on to argue that we should forego economic growth to some degree for the sake of the environment. Now, I don't know about our viewers, but I strongly believe that is even more unrealistic than sustainable development. How do you explain your hypocrisy here?
I'm actually surprised that you caught on to that, considering the previous monopoly of ignorance that you all presented. Nevertheless, I think the difference lies in the fact of necessity. You see, sustainable development is impossible because it's, well, impossible. My suggestion, on the other hand, however unrealistic it might be right now, is possible, and at this rate would be our only option in not a long time. Hope that clears things up a bit.
Currently, I'm just hoping that all your words come true someday. Fingers crossed, I must say.
Same, same. Here.
I can already just see a faction against an individual, which is quite a sight to see. But let's just relax a bit because all we have now is the final question coming up. And I think I should direct it towards Miss Mahi now. We've lost her for a bit. Let's just bring her back into the working of things. So, yeah, final question, guys. With the COP26 having been recently concluded, are you content with all that the government is planning to do against climate change? Are you happy with the current state of how the world is tackling this looming disaster? What else would you want the governments of the world to do to fight it and ensure a better future for all of the earth and all of us living on it?
Well, this is a question of my interest. In the recent COP meeting, some long term goals that were established included strengthening efforts to build resilience to climate change, curb greenhouse gas emissions, and provide the necessary finance for both. Great goals to make, I say. But I also ask, where is the execution? The goals mean nothing without execution. All the governments wearing their capes of righteousness agreed to help our slowly deteriorating planet, which, let's be very honest, they aren't bothered about in the least. All they care about is if they'll win the next election or not, and not the dying diversity. In the end, it all rains down to politics and power, which, to say the least, is very disappointing in itself. I have a feeling someone will disagree.
Well, Mahi, very sorry. So, Mahi, without government's initiative and policy making, SDG implementing SDG is a mammoth task. I would like to say, not that I can gesture with my hands how big it is. It's a mammoth task. I would like to add. People often naively paint the dissenters with a brush of extremism and rave about the lack of legislative will. And as Mr. Hardik Srivastava said, we forget that for every Trump there is a France blanket banning plastics. For every Bolsonaro, there is an India ranking third in the renewable energy and setting up the International Solar Alliance right here in Gurgaon. The same legislative will and cooperation united for the Montreal Protocol, thanks to which the famous 1 million square kilometer ozone hole we all have studied in a textbook is now filled up. I hope you all are educated over, and I hope you all have read about it. It's very famous. Nations have reformed their duty to fulfill the pledge of providing $100 billion annually from developed to developing countries, so these countries can afford a resource for any kind of change. We as humans often ignore what has been done, what's being done, and what will be done, and submit to a fundamental yet fatal negativity bias, as Mr. Hardik Srivastav said. So, all of us must not forget that Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will a world with its ideal rooted in equality, justice, and collaborative growth. And
Let
before
me just
someone
jump in.
starts to speak up,
Jump in real
I am
quick.
very sorry. Yeah, so I would like to add Hardik. Pass on to you. I mean, I can just see you hopping from a chair over there. So pass on to you.
I would have taken up it. Never mind your passing on, so to say. You've just spoken sheer gibberish, in my opinion. Never mind, I'll just address the question that Akshat posed to us. Whatever the governments of the world have done, it just isn't enough. And in my opinion, that isn't going to change anytime soon. Governments, whether you like to admit it or not, chase support. They chase popularity. And while it may seem like acting upon the climate is the clear and popular thing to do, it is seldom the case, especially here in the East. People are just too engrossed in getting 2 meals a day to care about a zero point 0.5 increase in temperature. What I'm trying to say here is that it doesn't matter how many meetings the UN has or how many PRs the EU releases if individual countries fail to educate their citizenry upon this very pertinent issue before it is too late. We'll get to COP 100 without any concrete changes at this rate.
Yeah, Hardik, just wanted to point out that you are taking Navodita's quote out of context, like in just public service. Just wanted to avoid misinformation.
Thank you
There's
so
no quote in
much,
that, Jibril?
Anandita. No, thank you so much, Anandita. I would like to say you have just graced us with your alerting some people who are just, I don't know, saying something. I'm not claiming it's what. I'm just saying. Sorry for interrupting. Who
Okay.
was supposed to
Okay.
speak?
Yeah. So first, Dr. Navodita. I agree, Rome wasn't built in a day. But remember, it burned in one. We are treading on an edge. If we don't reverse what all went wrong, I don't think I need to state what the outcome will be. Secondly, thanks Hardik for supporting my point, but I got a question for you. As cited before, developed countries are continuously reinstating their support for developing countries' climate action plans through investment and more. Do you think then that international consortiums such as UN and EU are more proactive in taking action than countries in their individual capacities?
No. If you've heard anything of what I've said during this discussion, so to say, you'll
Yeah,
know that
just wanted
yeah.
your
So
opinion.
it's pretty clear from where I'm standing, really, that the inaction, indecisiveness, and the sheer irresolution of nation blocs is multiplied by the factor of countries in them. If we characterize success by setting of euphoric goals without planning on how to act on them, we'd be singing praises of the UN right now. And that is if climate change hadn't already ended us. So, as slow as individual countries are, consortiums are somehow even slower.
All right, just a tiny question, Hardik. What kind of coffee are you having? Because like the energy you have right now with everyone just going against you,
It's
that's
going through the roof. It's through the roof, I would say.
Let me just tell you, nothing beats a cappuccino. Nothing beats a good cappuccino.
Thank you for that.
Coming back to the topic, guys.
All right, thank you, Dr. Anandita. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it should be actually. Yeah, so just ignoring all that stuff. In addition to what Hardik said, I believe, like almost everything in politics, governments need to be incentivized to focus on climate change. And that can only happen in two ways. Either the majority of a population somehow magically become aware of climate change and rally to pressure governments into caring, or climate change dire reality finally becomes the first priority. Both of them which are incredibly unlikely to happen. We already saw this happening at the recent COP26, where countries wearing their all righteous gowns back down from truly taking any real step. And why should they? Are the endangered animals going to vote for them? No, it will be that poor man who lost his job during while cutting trees, and now his family is starving. Not a good look, is it? With that, I think it's the logical end to this very enthralling discussion.
Just
Wait,
before
Anandita, I just add
I
something.
knew
Go
it.
ahead and
Someone
add
was gonna
something.
say
Yeah,
something.
copying
Yeah.
Hardik. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not attempting to defend the inaction and incompetency of governments. people above us, well, I just want everybody to walk the talk. It pains me to bring such a pessimistic point of view to the discussion, but I'm afraid that putting our hopes in those above us will eventually result in falling into a deep hole below. That deep hole only seems to be getting deeper. We keep demanding answers, but we are asking wrong people the question. And I think in the end of the debate, the discussion, which is supposed to be, we all agree that change should be taken very seriously.
Agreed. I think
Yeah.
it will be the only point where we all will agree.
Yeah,
I
take
mean,
it
it is
away,
a
Akshay.
serious thing. We have to take it seriously, or we are just at the end, almost at the end.
I'm so happy that you guys finally agreed upon something because this was quite, it was quite fun for me. I enjoyed the drama, I enjoyed the fighting, but at the end of the day, this is supposed to be an educational show. This is supposed to be an informative show, and you did that. Like, I don't know, can I dub you the intellectual squad or something? Because that's anyway, I hope our viewers enjoyed this, and we'd be lucky to have you guys again because this was a very edifying discussion, and uh, just to get your views
Thank
once
you for
more.
bringing me here.
Thank
Debate.
you.
We
Thank
will
you,
not take
everybody.
much
That's
of
all
your
right.
Thank
time,
you,
Akshat.
I'm very happy you took
Thank
time
you.
off your jobs and very busy schedules to just make it. So I'm really grateful for that. And I guess
Yeah,
this is
we are glad
goodbye.
to.
Thank you. Thank you. This is goodbye. This was me, Akshay Kapoor, the host of our talk show, Planting Hope on the Planet. And I'll see you again pretty soon, which is basically next week. So, I'm not going anywhere. And yeah, thank you, everyone. And goodbye. Well, that was quite an enlightening segment. The heated discussions did finally prove fruitful. For now, we know our planet is dying. We're the only ones with any sort of ability to stop that. We need to protect each and every resource, be it air, water, and even food. Almost 700 million people are malnourished all around the globe, a tenth of our entire population. And a little British rabbit is not at all happy with how we're handling it. Now we have Peter's plea to protect the planet. Too many peas, but Peter Rabbit is a food hero, so it can be excused. Here he is to tell us how we can be food heroes like him and wipe food scarcity off the face of the earth.
Peter Rabbit and his friends have always taken care of the environment.
Should this be in paper or plastic?
Now, Peter Rabbit is supporting the United Nations by being a food hero.
Anyone hungry?
As a food hero, he's doing his part to take care of our only planet, and he needs your help.
Come on.
Here's what you can do. Eat more fruits and vegetables.
Wait, you don't have to try to eat me anymore. You're welcome to all of this.
Fantastic. If you can, buy local and seasonal food.
There's a magical place with the ripest radishes, the sweetest corn. It's called the Farmer's Market.
Grow food at home.
What can I get you? We have apples, tomatoes,
and waste less food. You too can be a food hero like Peter Rabbit.
Yes! Tell me everything.
Learn how to act now.
Wake up, kids! We have a job to do!
Let's go.
Find out more at un.org/act now.
वीडियो बहुत मनोरंजक और ज्ञानवर्धक थी। संस्कृत भाषा संसार की प्राचीनतम भाषा है। संस्कृत में भारतीय संस्कृति स्वतः ही झलकती है और जब संस्कृत के श्लोक गायन की बात करें तो आनंद की परिसीमा नहीं रहती। गति, यति और लय से सुसज्जित होते हैं ये श्लोक। जब हम लयबद्ध श्लोकों के माध्यम से वैश्विक समस्याएं जैसे भूखमरी, पर्यावरण संरक्षण, समावेशी शिक्षा व गुणवत्ता से युक्त शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य तथा जल व्यवस्था आदि को जनमानस तक प्रेषित करते हैं तो मन मस्तिष्क उस समस्या को भावात्मक रूप से स्वीकार ही नहीं करता, वरन उसके समाधान हेतु अथक प्रयास भी करता है। तो आइए हम सब मिलकर सूक्ति सुधा कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से वैश्विक समस्याओं से संकल्पित श्लोकों को छात्रों की मधुर आवाज में सुने और समस्याओं के समाधान का मार्ग प्रशस्त करें।
वृक्षान् छित्त्वा पशून् हत्वा कृत्वा रुधिरकर्दमम् यद्देवं गम्यते स्वर्गे नरकः केन गम्यते। अर्थात वृक्ष काटकर, पशुओं की हत्या कर व रक्तपात कर यदि स्वर्ग प्राप्त होता है तब नरक किसके द्वारा प्राप्त किया जाता है? धन्यवाद।
पर्यावरण नाशेन नश्यन्ति सर्वजन्तवः पवनः दुष्टतां याति प्रकृतिर्विकृतायते। अर्थात हमारे पर्यावरण में प्रदूषण के कारण हवाएं शातिर हो जाती हैं, प्राणी नष्ट हो जाते हैं और प्रकृति शत्रुतापूर्ण हो जाती है। धन्यवाद।
प्राणो वै जगतानापो भूतानि भुवनानि च बहुनात्र किमुक्तेन चराचरमिदं जगत। अर्थात जल जगत के प्राण है जिसमें सब भूत और भुवन है। संपूर्ण चर और अचर जगत जल के आधार पर स्थित है। धन्यवाद।
क्षणशः कणशश्चैव विद्याम् अर्थं च साधयेत् क्षणेनश्चे कुतो विद्या कनेनश्चे कुतो धनम। अर्थात एक एक क्षण गवाए बिना विद्या ग्रहण करनी चाहिए और एक एक कण को बचा करके धन इकट्ठा करना चाहिए। क्षण गवाने वाले को विद्या कहाँ और कण को क्षुद्र समझने वाले को धन कहाँ। धन्यवाद।
न चौरहार्यं न राजहार्यं न भ्रातृभाज्यं न च भारकारी व्यये कृते वर्धते एव नित्यं विद्या धनम सर्वधनम प्रधानम। अर्थात चोर चुरा नहीं सकता, राजा छीन नहीं सकता और भाई बांट नहीं सकता। जो भारी भी ना हो और व्यय करने से बढ़ता ही हो, ऐसा विद्या रूपी धन सभी धनों में मुख्य है। धन्यवाद।
अयं निज परो वेति गणना लघु चेतसाम् उदार चरितानाम तु वसुधैव कुटुम्बकम्। अर्थात यह मेरा है, वह तेरा है, ऐसा छोटे चिंतन वाले कहते हैं। उदार चरित्र और चिंतन वालों के लिए तो समस्त पृथ्वी ही एक परिवार है। धन्यवाद।
व्यायामात् लभते स्वास्थ्यं दीर्घायुष्यं बलं सुखम् आरोग्यं परमं भाग्यं स्वास्थ्यं सर्वार्थ साधनम। अर्थात व्यायाम से स्वास्थ्य, लंबी आयु, बल और सुख की प्राप्ति होती है। निरोगी होना सबका परम भाग्य है और स्वास्थ्य से अन्य सभी कार्य सिद्ध होते हैं। धन्यवाद।
आत्मार्थं जीवलोके अस्मिन् को न जीवति मानवः परं परोपकारार्थं यो जीवति सह जीवति। इस संसार में अपने लिए सभी मनुष्य जीते हैं, परंतु जो व्यक्ति दूसरों के लिए जीता है, दूसरों की भूख शांत करता है, वास्तव में उसी का जीवन जीवन है। धन्यवाद।
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मां कश्चित् दुर्भाग भवे। अर्थात सभी सुखी होवे, सभी रोग मुक्त रहे और सभी मंगलमय घटनाओं के साक्षी बने और किसी को भी दुख का भागी ना बनना पड़े। धन्यवाद।
इन श्लोकों के माध्यम से आप सभी को जगाना है, इन वैश्विक समस्याओं के समाधान में एक कदम अपना भी बढ़ाना है। पर्यावरण संरक्षण, स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा या फिर हो लैंगिक समानता, भूखमरी, स्वास्थ्य, शिक्षा की गुणवत्ता, जल की है भरपूर आवश्यकता। आर्थिक, सामाजिक व राष्ट्रीय विकास की है इन पर अत्यंत निर्भरता। केवल भारत की ही नहीं, वर्ण विश्व की है ये 17 विकट समस्या। मानकर इनकी महत्ता, यूएनओ ने दी इन्हें सतत विकास लक्ष्य की मान्यता। हम सबको मिलकर बीड़ा उठाना है। 2030 तक इन समस्याओं के समाधान का लक्ष्य हमें पाना है, हमें पाना है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, my dear friends, for those wonderful shlokas. We human beings have created a menace on the Mother Earth. As Daisaku Ikeda has rightly said, that no matter how complex global problems may seem, it is we ourselves who have given rise to them. But they cannot be beyond our power to resolve. Some of the world leaders are taking initiatives to address these global issues and working in the direction to resolve them. Moving on, now I would like to invite you all to the next event, Rendezvous of World Leaders. Meet my friends impersonating the leaders who have shouldered the responsibility for bringing about a change for the welfare of entire human race in their own unique and effective ways. Let's welcome them with a huge round of applause.
Shreya Maheshwari of class 9th F will take you forward as Sindhu Gangadharan.
My appellation is Sindhu Gangadharan. I never dreamed about success. I worked for it, and this is how I achieved success. Ever since my childhood, I have been fascinated with technology. Bengaluru, being the technology hub, fascinated me in terms of possibilities, and I ended up studying computer science. I then joined SAP as a software developer. Here, we focus on how the enabling power of IT can help eradicate poverty and create a world that assures economic opportunities for all, support good health and well-being, and ensure greater equality and diversity, build a healthier, more sustainable planet. Realizing that it is a male-dominated field across all levels, we have been focusing on looking at initiatives for girl students coming from weaker socioeconomic backgrounds and giving them an opportunity to come into the corporate world. We have therefore come up with programs like Girls Who Code, Girls Smarts, and Girl Power Tech to boost the female participation, and we have been successful in the endeavor. We are committed not to rest on the progress made, but continue to work together to closer to making a difference more and more every year.
Now, Rudraksh of class 9th F will take you further as Ankit Kawatra.
Hello, I'm Ankit Kawatra. Believe that hunger is not only one of the most pressing problems of the world, but it is also one of the biggest killers in the world. The main problem is not the lack of food or its availability, but the main problem is its wastage as well as insufficient distribution mechanism. Sometimes very huge problem needs very precise and very simple solution. Noticing that a lot of food get wastage in marriages and birthdays and parties and in many other events, I conceived the idea of saving it, collecting it and making it reach to hungry people. And that's how I left my corporate job and founded Zomato Feeding India in year 2014. When I discussed the same idea with my friends and colleagues, I didn't meet with much enthusiasm which I hoped for. Things seems to be easily accomplished at first, but it was not. Somehow I convinced some of my friends and colleagues to do the same and never look back. We parted with the trade trust and urged them to give their excess food to those beneficiaries who could not earn for themselves. We even encouraged people from food industry like celebrity chefs Ritu Dalmia, chef Manjeet Gill, and TV personalities like Mayur Sharma from NDTV's Highway on My Plate. And we even encouraged restaurants and food bloggers to come together for the same noble cause. And we even conduct campaigns and events such as Be a Hunger Hero, Back to Bachpan, so that we can raise the awareness against the same and could get the food from people and they could give their food to Zomato Feeding India. You all can devote to the same noble cause through my set drive, Zomato Feeding India, or any other possible way such as donating into NGOs or donation drives, etc. Let's come together to fight hunger.
Now, Archita Bajaj of class 9th H will take you forward as Dipali Goenka.
What takes a person to different heights? Well, for me, it's interest and perseverance. Hi, I'm Dipali Goenka, the CEO and Managing Director of Wellspun Group. I'm also a professional Kathak dancer. Wellspun Group is one of India's fastest growing global conglomerates with business in textiles, pipelines, infrastructure, steel, flooring solutions, and many more. My employees are like my family. I think the biggest achievement of mine is the increase in percentage of women from 7% to 23% in my workplace. An organization cannot only be based on IQ, it also needs emotional quotient, which only women can bring. I'm a firm believer of no discrimination at workplace or violence whatsoever. I believe in consistency and always say apna time aayega.
Now, Vihan Yadav of class 9th G will take you further as Brad Smith.
As described by New York Times, de facto ambassador for the technology industry at large. Hi everyone, I'm Brad Smith. When your technology changes the world, you bear a responsibility to help address the world you have helped create. The key issues in this world filled in tech, in my eyes, are cybersecurity and the issues with our environment, which are rising at an alarming rate. I have talked about these issues in my book, Tools and Weapons, The Promise and Peril of the Digital Age. But still, we need to work together to solve these problems. And I personally have been working towards industry, infrastructure and innovation. And have been spreading the message to everyone. We must use our technology wisely and cautiously. Together, we might be able to correct the mistakes and help the environment. But if only a handful of people don't do their part, then the problems might not be solved.
Now, Naksh of class 9th F will take you forward as Udit Singhal.
Be the harbingers of change instead of nodding heads. And this is what keeps me, Udit Singhal, going on. Glass is a matter of concern for environment because it's non-recyclable and thus it causes harm to environment. It's because glass does not get decomposed for a million of years. Whether you believe or not, but glass bottles are responsible for 95% bigger contribution to global warming than other aluminium cars. Isn't it scary? And this fact made my mind figure out a solution: glass to sand, an environment-friendly, zero-waste ecosystem, and a no glass to landfill movement that addresses the growing menace of glass waste in India by converting the glass bottles into sand, which gives silica a useful item. So far, 14,000 plus glass bottles have been stopped from entering the landfills and have been converted into 8,400 kilograms of high-grade silica. I hope to be able to encourage communities to embrace a better civic sense of creating sustainable living spaces. I urge them to help us do a bit saving our environment by donating us with glass bottles, and in turn, we promise you to give a better environment.
Now, Kushal of class 9th G will take you forward as Amitabh Kant.
There's no one who has only risen in life. They're bound to be sharp downs. Greetings everyone, I'm Amitabh Khan, the Chief Executive Officer of Niti Aayog and a member of Indian Administrative Service. As a child, I have always been overwhelmed with a keen sense of patriotism, driving me to work for the rectification of a nation by introducing award-winning initiatives such as Make in India and God's Own Country. I hope to ameliorate the state of our people. My current aim is to advance the manufacturing sector in India and make this nation a global hub for manufacturing. I strive to make India free of fossil fuel import by 2047 and step into an independent nation. I believe that every single day is an opportunity and you must tap into that.
Now, Hiral Khurana of class 9th E will take you forward as Greta Thunberg.
The bigger your carbon footprint, the bigger your moral duty. The bigger your platform, the bigger your responsibility. Adults keep saying we owe it to the young generation to give us hope. But I don't want your hope. Change is coming, whether you like it or not. For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear, and yet they continue to look away and come around saying we're doing enough, when the politics and solutions needed are nowhere in sight. None is too small to change things. By keeping this in our mind, we held a sign saying School Strike for Climate to pressurize the government to meet the carbon emission targets. This small campaign led to a global effect, inspiring thousands of people across the globe to organize their own strikes. If we want to save the earth, we have to work together and continue so we can save the future.
It was truly an incredible performance by everyone, I must say. The difference between rich and poor is becoming more extreme, and as inequality widens the wealth gap in major nations, education, health, and social mobility are all threatened. People seem to have reared the feelings of hatred, revenge, and anger in their hearts. If we keep discriminating each other, the world will surely end in chaos. The fact is that we all are connected and one can only grow and progress through the growth and progression of others. On this note, we will further be showcasing a beautiful and heart-touching dance drama. This dance drama on one hand shows the consequences of letting our prejudices control our decisions and how the selfish souls depicted in the drama invited death and therefore died by the coldness of their hearts. Whereas, on the other hand, it showcases the philosophy of Ubuntu, the belief in a universal bond of sharing that connects all humanity. Come all, let us join hands to bring togetherness, harmony, brotherhood and amity in the world. I hope you all will find it interesting and most importantly, learn something from the same.
Greetings, everybody. Let's start with a question. What do you think is the basic social necessity for any institution to function? Is it discipline, or a set of rules, or perhaps respect for authority? I believe the answer is none of the above, for they can all be aptly summed up in the mere word unity. It is the pillar on which society functions. One of the admittedly few things that American politics gets right is the Bernie Sanders quote. A nation will not survive morally or economically when so few have so much and so many so little. Argue, embellish, or debate as we may, there is simply no running from the fact that your peace is dependent upon mine and ours dependent upon theirs. Why then do we not come together and build a better world? If not for us, maybe for them. If not for the sake of togetherness, maybe for the sake of safety. In our attempt to envisage the importance and effects of equality and the sad repercussions if we fail to do so, we present to you a dance drama on reduced inequalities. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into it.
Millenniums ago, I created the world, made the solar system and your earth. I created water and nature. Life was born in the marine, and so were the dinosaurs. Nature took another form. Dinosaurs disappeared, and everything changed. Ancient species of humans formed. That's when your ancestors were born. My creation was the revolution. Discoveries unfolded the mysteries. Development occurred for good. All were after human evolution. I'm just proud, and so proud of my creation.
Oh God, you are great, but your creation, humans, are the worst. They don't understand the true meaning of life. And when someone tries to tell them, they think of them as mad. They are selfish, unforgiving, aggressive, vindictive, and narcissistic. And I can prove that. Let me take you to the jungle in this cold winter night, where 6 different people have lost their way and ended up together right in the middle of the forest. Oh Lord, please see them.
It's a very cold winter night today, and with these crutches, I cannot walk long distances. I must find a place to rest.
It's getting dark, and I should find some shelter for myself.
Good gracious! Really, I'm so blessed in this lonely jungle. I could see a small fire just a few steps away. I think I can relax here.
Oh my God! This fire is going to extinguish, and I have a small piece of wood with me. How will I survive through this cold night?
Oh, why did I even come out of my luxurious house in this cold winter night? Now I will have to spend my night with these low-class people.
Fire! A great savior in this cold night. But I don't know whether a person like me would be allowed to sit there with people like them.
The fire was dying. It was really dying. Every person there was carrying a piece of wood, but no one had the heart to part with it. The fire was dying. It was really dying.
Oh my God, the fire is dying! But I will not give my log of wood to provide warmth to a lady, not at all.
I even can't give my log of wood in the fire. Do you really think that I would be giving it for a lame person who can't even walk properly? I can't part with my piece of wood for this lame person.
Oh my God, it is really dying. Somebody has to put a log of wood in it. But I I will not. My log of wood will not provide warmth to this dark man. I really hate him.
So, Vilal, the people of your race tortured us and ruled over us for many years. They treated us like bonded slaves. I won't let my stick to be sacrificed to provide warmth to this arrogant man.
I can't see my wooden logs burning into the embers of a poor.
I will not give my log of wood to feed this fire. The poor have always been suppressed by the rich. So I will not provide my log of wood to give warmth to these rich people.
In the end, the fire died, and so did the 6 people who had hatred and cold feelings in their hearts towards each other. No one was willing to give warmth to each other, and they didn't die cold without, but cold within.
People killing, people dying. Children hurting, I hear them crying. Can you practice what you preaching? Would you turn the other cheek again? Mama, 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 tell us what the hell is going on. Can't we all just get along? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. Cause people got me questioning. Yeah, what's going on with the world, mama? Yeah, people living like they ain't got no mama. I think they're all distracted by the drama and attracted to the trauma, mama. I think they don't understand the concept or the meaning of karma. Where's the love? Overseas, yeah, they're trying to stop terrorism. Where's the love? Over here on the streets, the police shoot the people, put the bullets in them. Where's the love? What happened to the love and the values of humanity? Where's the love? What happened to the love and the fairness and equality? Where's the love? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Where's the love? Lack of understanding leading us away from unity. Where's the love?
Oh God, you made everyone equal, but their differences made them unequal. Do you have something to say about it?
Humans have both good and evil traits in them. When one is up, another is down. No matter the era, human beings still believe in togetherness. Don't you believe in the omnipresent?
Oh Almighty, you know everything, but please help me to understand.
Let me show you how beautiful is my creation. How compassionate human beings are, how friendly and helpful they are. I'm taking you to a small village where an anthropologist has come to study social behavior of the people there.
This place is beautiful and nature is abundant. I can see some innocent children playing over there. Oh lovely children, would you like to play a game?
Yes, of course, we'd love to.
Which game, uncle?
Can we all be the part of this game?
Yes, you all can play, but the winner will only be one.
Uncle, how do we play this game?
I have some succulent juicy fruit over here. I'll keep these in the basket. Will you all please go and stand near that tree?
The basket filled with fruits underneath the tree and made the children stand 100 meters away.
Is this going to be a race?
Yes, Whoever reaches to the basket first gets to keep all the fruits to himself or herself. Now, on the count of 3, you all are going to race to the basket. Ready, set, go!
Hooray! We did it!
I am really amazed to see unity among these children. I am really surprised, children. Why did you all wait for each other when one of you could have taken all the fruits in the basket?
Ubuntu.
How can one of us be happy if all the others are sad?
I am because we all are. And that's what being human is. Sharing the joy of giving and the sense of togetherness is the essence of happiness.
I can't wait to have these delicious and tempting fruits.
Oh, wow, preserver. I now understand you. Like your name, you have preserved the world. You have preserved the goodness, and you have preserved the righteousness.
I look outside and see the world, I feel the world, I see it through my eyes. I rush to work and do my thing, but most of all I'm trying to survive. I dream, I hope, I live and I plan, but everything seems empty on my own. I'm just a man, I play my part, but I can make a difference all alone. We can change, we can change, we need change. We can change, we can change, we need change. Change the world. Change the world. We can change, we can change, we need change. We can change, we can change, we need change. I took a step from inside out, I spread the word and sent my love around. My message clear, we're all in here together now, no changes without sound. I dream, I hope, I live and I plan. We're building a new world where we grow old. I'm just a man, I play my part and try to make a difference all alone. We can change, we can change, we need change.
What a lovely play indeed. Exceptional work done by our team with such an inspirational message. After watching all the events and understanding the message given by my fellow schoolmates, we can see that the implementation of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals is indispensable for the existence of humankind. Our program today, indeed, was an effort to bring about awareness towards the Sustainable Development Goals and the plan of action that we humans need to chalk out to achieve this global aim. If we want to see a change, we need to change ourselves. These global goals can't be achieved if we defer our role towards planet Earth and Mother Nature. Sustainability can be achieved only if we enforce these goals in our regular chores. It is our moral obligation for the sake of humankind to take a small step towards making the world a better place to live in. Now, that being said, I would like to thank Ma'am Principal, our supervisory head, my respected teachers, and my dear friends for making this show a success. I would also like to express my gratitude to all the parents for their valuable time and for encouraging us throughout the program. Lastly, I request you all to kindly stand up for the national anthem. Thank you.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे